once again interrupted by the roommate. So I left off. Buddy, come. So I was trying to get my dog on the bed. Okay. So I think I left off talking about the ego and how it's in control of us, but uh, I'd like to divert past. I think so far this is probably one of the most awkward discussions I've had just because it's been broken up so much. And because I don't exactly know how to approach this is the situation. It's new territory for me. I'm really good at helping other people solve issues and solve problems and whatnot, but when it comes to me, I don't necessarily know how to navigate myself. And the thing is that in order for me to truly help people, I need to overcome a lot of my issues and whatnot. And I can still have issues. I just need to learn how to deal with them faster and actually let them go. I have a lot of memories that are negative that I apparently hold on to for some reason instead of just. And let's be clear on something. So, memories are twofold. There is the event, the action that happened, and there is the emotion that we apply to those actions and the meaning that we make up for the event. So, um, a very minor one, which I joke about now, but it really bothered me when I first moved into the place that I'm living in right now. We had a different roommate back then, and I had maybe been living there for a week. Not even a month, but a week. Probably about 5 days. And she looked at me and she said, Mike, you're up to clean the bathroom. And here's why I was pissed off. The tub was dirty, pretty, like really bad. And there was two other people that lived in this place. And I don't care if, well, it would make a difference if the person was only, like the other person was only there for a month or whatnot. But because, okay, drink. Um, I apologize to anyone that's listening to this. I am amazed that you've gotten through this. I've been so distracted doing this because I really don't want to face this. And there's things that are frustrating me, like my dog continuously interrupting because I think he knows that this is hard for me to deal with. And I feel like I keep skirting the issues. I'm just going to come out with it. Here's bottom line what I'm basically afraid to talk about. I'm afraid, the reason why I'm scared about talking about this stuff is because I don't think that you will believe me. I have just slowly started to believe my purpose on this planet, and my purpose out in the universe, and my purpose beyond that. It is very screwed up. And very hard to understand. And what drives me nuts the most, what pisses me off the most about when I tell other people about who I am, they need me to say it is possible that this is who I am. I cannot give them a direct statement and say, hey, guess what, guys? This is me. And what me consists of is this. First and foremost, at this moment, conscious-wise, I am a being called Michael Stevens on planet Earth that lives in Canada. Western Canada. I am single, I have a dog, and I live with a roommate. Come on, buddy up. Get up. Um, then there's the spiritual Mike, who... Hi. Hi. Just relax now. Sorry. I'm so hesitant on putting this out. I mean, is this enjoyable to anybody? The only reason why now I'm putting it out is because I've recorded 2 other sessions that aren't technically all that amazing either. But if I don't put them out, it's me hiding 1 from myself and 2 from you. I don't usually feel this sporadic, but the thing is that I'm picking up on all of this energy that's going on in the world. And my dog feels it, and he distracts me, and I get so fucking frustrated. And I get mad, and I get angry, because it just boils up inside. And sometimes I just want to scream, and I want to shout, but there's no safe place in the world to do that. Because if I do that, then I look like I'm fucking crazy. Then all I want to do is change the world. And the thing is that yes, the world does need to be changed. That is a fact. The way that the world is going right now, the way that human beings, us, our fucking species, the parasite on this planet, is going right now, is going to destroy the world we live in. We've done it before. At least the beings that are in control of this planet have done it before. But you don't have to believe that, because you know what? It's not physical. It's not scientifically proven on this planet that ETs exist, or that angels exist, or that God exists, or anything like that. So you can go about your merry way and just go, oh, everything is fine because none of this other stuff exists. Keep putting your head in the sands. I'm afraid to be tough with you guys, because for the most part, the feedback that I get back from most people is that I am too, not necessarily forceful with what I say, but I'm angry. But I have every right to be angry. Because for the most part, all I see in this world are people being shitty to one another. And what bothers me about it, what really bothers me about it, when we get down to the core of the situation, is that that isn't you. You aren't shitty. But what you've allowed yourself to become through the monetary system which controls the planet at the moment. What you've allowed yourself to become is shitty. And I'm somewhat the same way. I'm climbing out of the hole that I've dug. But you don't even know that you're in a hole. And the thing is that you'll probably fight me on it too. You'll probably say, no, I'm not in a hole. There's nothing wrong. But there is. You see, this is what, technically, I'm afraid to tell you. 1, I'm not from here. Yes, I was born on this planet. Barreled out through my mother. Carried by her for a while. But that's not me. That's just the construct. What makes me me? Not Michael Stevens, not the certificate, not what is owned by the federal, well, not necessarily the Federal Reserve, but world banks. Not that. not this physical body that I'm currently, apparently, because we've all let this happen, not just me, but every single person on this planet because of ignorance. I'm not the slave body that I reside in. I am not from here, and the thing is that neither are you, but you have, for the most part, forgotten that. But let's push the envelope a little bit further. Let's get to the meat of everything, if that's what you really want. If you really just want the meat of it all, here's the meat. I cannot prove this. I can only feel what I feel and relay what I relay. I am part of a council from the above. And that might be on this plane, and it might be on the plane above that. What's going to be hard for you guys to come to terms with is that once you realize that there's more to this planet than just what you see physically, what you will come to realize is that there's more to this universe than what you can see physically, and there's more to the other side. But you're not ready for that yet, and that doesn't matter. What matters is what's going on this planet and what will happen if we do not do anything. If we do not change what is going on, this is what will happen. If you think back through history, we have repeated cycles numerous times. I am sure that we've gotten to several different heights in civilization over years. And we've destroyed ourselves. Either we've destroyed ourselves or the planet has destroyed us. Think biblically now. And consider that the story of consider the story of Noah and the ark, and how God wipes out the entire civilization of his creation except for a certain amount of people. And obviously creatures and whatnot, like the story of two of everything, blah, 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 blah. Now, fast forward to Jesus, crucified for our sins, right? And that's what we believe. That's what we've been taught to believe. It's that Jesus died for our sins because our, in quotation marks, Father told him to. But technically that's not true either. You can believe whatever you want. That's, that's free will. That's why, that's why all the negativity can be on this planet too. It's because you get to choose what you want to believe in. And I sound very condescending, but I'm pissed off. Okay? I'm very frustrated. So you know what? Yeah, this is going to sound very condescending. And I'm going to look, and it's going to sound like I'm looking down upon people, which I kind of am. I'm okay with that. Because it's gotten me to this point where I'm just going to get it out. So, Jesus didn't technically die for our sins. What he died for, if in fact he existed in the first place. Now, for the most part, to me, Jesus is more of a idea, a status, and not a status symbol like celebrity and stuff, but like a roughly like a CEO kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's, like someone is a Christ, just kind of like someone is a Caesar, right? Julius Caesar. His last name wasn't Caesar. That was a title. There we go, title. whoever this man was, let's say that he did exist, whoever this man was, he or she did not die for our sins to wipe the slate clean. What they died for was so that we didn't have to go through another cataclysm to reset the world. However, you cannot continue that route. At some point, you just need to eradicate the illness. And we are currently an illness. Humankind. Not animals, not plants and trees, not the sky, not the air molecules around us, but the human being, me and you, us walking on two legs, talking, conscious beings, are a parasite to this planet. Everything else can get along on it. We destroy it. And we've also destroyed Mars, which we're going to go back and try and re-terraform. Good luck on that. But it's also very, very possible that a planet just past Mars, before Jupiter, has also been completely destroyed, wiped out into basically oblivion, but into the asteroid belt that separates Mars from Jupiter. And although I don't have all the facts on this, and this is why I'm going to say that it's very possible, but I don't know if it's true or not, it's very possible that I have been a part of a council that, when things have gone too far, when they can't go back, we destroy everything. Everything. Planet included. Think about this, and think about how much the solar system kind of aligns with the dualistic nature of our planet. But also, think about this. There are currently 9 planets in our solar system, including Pluto. Let's not just go, oh, dwarfism, get away from me. Let's give it some respect. Now, Earth and Venus are known as twin planets or sister planets, like brother-sister planets or whatever it is. The same can be said about Jupiter and Saturn. Big, bulky planets, gas giants, they can see it. I would say the same could be said about Neptune and Uranus. And the same could be said about Mercury and Pluto. Closest to the sun, hot, hot, hot. Furthest from the sun, cold, cold, cold. Both tiny. One kind of known as, I think, I'm not 100% certain, but I think Pluto is like a god of death or something like that. I need to look that up. But it would make sense, right? So far away, cold and shit. And Mercury is the god of wisdom and a messenger. So it kind of brings life to subjects and whatnot. Anyways, every single one of these has a twin planet, except for Mars. And it is possible that beings from Mars had once lived on this other planet. Some call it Tiamat, Kronos, I think. I'm not 100% certain. No, Kronos is more Saturn. But there were beings that lived at one point on Mars. And it's very possible that they, including me probably, destroyed, completely destroyed this other planet so that it created the asteroid belt. And Mars lost its twin. Kind of like if you think about the story of Cain and Abel in the Bible, how Cain killed Abel. And then eventually they destroyed their own planet, needed somewhere to live, and they came to Earth and infiltrated Earth to have it become what it is now. And it needs saving, guys. Not even kidding you. This whole planet's in trouble. I have probably maybe 50 years left on this planet to make a difference. It's not a long time. Days go by so quickly now, and they're going to go by faster. I equivalent it to, really only having, like that 24 hours really feels like 16, which means that my awake time is about half the day to do anything. That's not a lot of time. And because I am part of this council, I'm here to observe, for the most part, what's going on, how people interact with each other. Is there a future with mankind being the predominant recipient, or I don't know if that's the right word, but just the predominant power on this planet? It's my job to watch this, to see it all, to see how people interact with one another. I get to see all the great things that happen on this planet. However, I also get to see not all, there's so much worse that I have yet to see. But I also get to see the worst in man. And not only that, but I get to feel it. I get to feel it deep down within me. It sucks. Because we don't realize how much damage we're actually doing to one another. We don't realize how we're hurting one another. We don't realize that the monetary system, in order for one person to succeed, many have to fail. And not only that, many have to die. But yet, because we've been brainwashed to believe that this has always been the way it is and it's always going to be the way it's going to be, we don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And here's the problem with that. Because people do not see this light at the end of the tunnel, they just stay in the darkness. And kind of like Plato's The Cave, the allegory of the cave, people stay blind to what's actually going on. They stay ignorant. And this ignorance is if nothing is done by it. And here's a concept that I hope you can wrap your head around. Linear time only exists on planets like Earth. And it's very possible that it only exists on planets that have some sort of wobble. I guess it's the revolving planets, right? Because, that's why That's why we have day and night. That's why we have seasons and whatnot. It's because of this wobble and because we rotate. We face the sun, then we face away from the sun, then we face the sun, and then we tilt, and seasons happen, and blah, 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 blah. But time doesn't exist the same way above as it does on this planet. When I die, however I die, it will not be the year 2000 or the millennium or even the 21st century. It will not be that where I am. It will be in the future. It will be in the past, and it will be in the present. Because where I go back to, everything is happening at once. And so, even though I have the opportunity to watch people including myself, be good or be bad or whatever, but, either help or destroy this planet, when I go back, me and this council will compile all the information, and we will make a decision on what is the future of Earth. Does it go through another cycle? Which I can explain later. To me, there's this thing called the precession of the equinox. Not to me. I mean, there is this thing. And there's also what's called the Yuga cycle. And translated more into English, the Yugas are, the golden age, silver, bronze, and iron, which we're currently in, also known as the Dark Ages, which, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense, because what have we done on this planet right now in order to see? We've used and harnessed and made light a slave, right? Whereas my guess is in those other previous ages, because of not necessarily a lack of electricity, but because of a respect for power, they do not blatantly just abuse it and light the world up. I mean, when I look outside on my balcony, and I look at the stars, I see very few. There's no purpose to only see few. We do not need to keep the lights on all the time. We do not need to make light a slave for us. We do that with everything. We make everything slaves. Trust me on that. We are slaves. And I can get into that later, but I'm not going to get into it now. What's important right now is to finish this discussion, because I need to get it done. I need to get it up, and I need to get it out of my life, and I need to have this at least somewhere so people can refer back to it and say, okay, this is what he means. I just need to get this out. And anyone that wants to listen to it, that's amazing. You can even laugh at it if you want to. It's not going to change anything. When I die, I'm going back to some place, and we're going to decide what happens here. And this isn't a threat. It's just a reality. But while I am here, besides just observing, I have an opportunity to do what is called planting seeds. Because I am also what's known as a seed. And I don't think that's the equivalency of a star seed or the light workers or anything like that. I think I'm completely different from them. They're doing a good job. They're a little misguided in some places, but they are, for the most part, at least not wanting to hurt other people as much as what other people have. But I have the ability to come here and plant seeds within people. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's going to be your choice in the end. It's not mine. As much as I care about people, you will decide your fate with this planet, and you all will. And all we will do is go, are they ready for the next evolution? And if they are, we will let you continue. But if you are not, heed my words, and this is again not a threat, it's just reality, mankind will be wiped out. And I'm telling you this now because we have the opportunity to change. Nowhere really in history has a message, one message, been able to reach everywhere in the world at the same time. And I'm not saying my message is the one. What I'm saying is that let's start being better people. And to start that, we need to be honest with one another of why we are here and what we would like to do. And for the longest time, I've been afraid to approach this because I didn't think people would believe me. I still don't know if they will. But I've been afraid to be me. I've been afraid to embrace and harness the power within me to make a change on this planet. And as my life ticks by, I'm going to be 35 in approximately 2.5 weeks. 35. And I haven't done anything yet. So that's going to change. It's going to change with this series of discussions. It's going to change with what I write on my website. It's going to change in the books that I write. And here's the thing. I want to release my books for free. I want every single person on this world to have an opportunity to read what I have to write. And if they turn into an audiobook, I want them to be able to listen to it without having to pay for it. But because, and this is not because of me, this is because of you, and it's time that we take responsibility for that, and I will join you in taking responsibility because I still do operate in it but not by choice, by force, is that you are the reason why when I release a book, you will have to pay for it. I would gladly give of everything that I do for free. But will you, on the other end, give of whatever you can to make sure that I can continue to release everything that I do for free? And right now, the feedback that I receive is that nobody is really willing to do that. So I have to charge money because in order for me to live in the building I live in order for me to survive and for my dog to survive, I too have to play the game of the monetary system. And that is not by my choice. At least not fully my choice. I would much prefer us to all learn to live together in harmony, where instead of trading items or paying for items, which is still trading, we just give to one another. Someone says, oh, I need a loaf of bread. A bread maker says, boom, there you go. There's bread. Enjoy. Tell me what you think of it. That's it. And the other person has, maybe some people are building houses and some dude just found 100 screws and they're just like, do you guys want these? Because they don't need them. Or maybe the people that are building the houses need like nails and hammers, and some dude has a bunch of them and is just like, here you go. Have them. And he knows that, the dude with the hammer and nails knows that if he ever needs anything, that other people will help him out too. And I don't understand why that's such a hard concept to grasp. Although I do understand a little bit. And whether you want to believe me or not, the reason why it is hard for people to see that the side that I have, that I will be presenting is very possible. And I'm talking about 100% possible. And almost to a fact that in alternate realities, it's already happened. And that Earth is right in the middle of a decision, a big decision to make. And the planet itself is there, and it's also the beings, and it's me and other people of the council. It's all of these light workers, and it's the emotional beings as well, who are just trying to release their karma, their debt that they've incurred in other lifetimes. Just trying to get rid of it. And we are, I forget where I was going with that. I'm so sorry. Let me backtrack for a second. I'm sorry. It's complete. I've completely lost track of where I was going on this discussion. Oh, here is why so many people don't believe that it's possible. There is, whether you want to believe it or not, the majority of this planet has been brainwashed in in one way the most fascinating way, but in another it's very cruel. It's very easy to manipulate other people, to force them to do things that they don't want to do. It's very easy, trust me. If you don't think it's easy, why do you own some of the stuff that you own? For the most part, especially if you live lavishly and whatnot, it's because you've been brainwashed to purchase it. And here's how it works. They start young with you. We're talking age of 3, 4. And they get inside your head and they break you down. And by they, I mean whoever's in power. And I'm talking about not only on this planet, but ethereal, like etheric beings as well. Those in the above, and even further than that, which I'll get into when you're ready. And yes, it is that's a judgment that I'm using, but I don't think you're ready to hear the full extent of it all. Now, here's what happens with mind control. They brainwash you and break you down. And they create a new you. And then with that new you, they build you back up in a way that they want you to, but you're still a resemblance of that old person before the brainwashing. And so you're still brainwashed, but you're acting as if you aren't. And so when anyone tries to save you and free your mind from that, you push back because you think that you've never changed. But in fact, you're not the same as you used to be. And a good example of that is in Game of Thrones Season 3 and 4, where the breakdown of Theon Greyjoy into Reek. And it has been probably one of the hardest. I just watched Season 4 because Season 5 is coming out soon. And it's been one of the hardest parts of that show to watch is how utterly broken he has become. And I look upon this world and I see that so much in people, just how broken they are. And I know that one of my jobs on this planet is to help people through that. But it's difficult to do that when people consistently tell you that you are wrong. And that's also why I've been afraid and scared to discuss this stuff. Because really, when it comes down to it, this is me. This is why I know all of this stuff. To be honest with you, as I learn about me, I'm understanding more and more why I don't want to be on this planet. I don't want to get to know you guys and then get off this planet and go, oh, okay, well, they can't figure it out, so let's destroy them all. Do you know how terrible that feeling is? To know that you're in charge of the death of billions. Billions. And just so we're clear, it affects the soul in a much different way than it affects the body. It's a weight on the spirit, and the spirit becomes unclean that way. What we want to do, in a sense, kind of like in religious studies, baptism and whatnot, is cleanse the soul. Clean it out so that the spirit can rise above the ego and we can all live in harmony. And we can do that. It's a choice. But it's not going to happen if we continuously bicker and we continuously fight with one another. It's not going to happen. But it will happen the moment that we realize that, even thinking about it and going, okay, maybe I am brainwashed. What can I do about it? And that's where I come in, and that's where other people like me come in. We can help you get out of that brainwashing to see what is really happening on this planet. And the more people that we can release from the trauma, the more people that will want to help build a new society and a new system where everybody gets to live for free. Where we give unconditionally and we receive unconditionally. However, there's a catch to it too. And I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. But the catch is this. Unless we choose one side or the other, we either stay as a parasite or we evolve into actual awesome beings, the beings that I see we can be. Unless we choose one or the other, we will continuously go through this cycle. And by this cycle, I mean, oh, and I never finished with the yuga and the procession stuff. I'll get into that in another discussion. It's important. But this cycle that I'm talking about is, oh, and just so we're clear, cycles are probably one of the most important things on this planet. We don't realize it is, but it is. Cycles happen all the time, and it goes back further than probably what you'd ever consider. Which, again, not trying to tease you or anything, but will be in another discussion. For right now, the cycle that I'm talking about is the one where we overthrow the monetary system, live for free for a while, and then eventually someone says, no, I value my goods over your life, and we go back into the monetary system. Unless we choose to continuously value each other as equals, and see each other as equals, and see each other as, in a sense, God. All of us is God, not just some deity parenting us, but all of us taking the responsibility of being God for each other. We will go through this cycle and we will end up once again going through the monetary system. We have a chance to change that. That's happening now. Trust me on this. It's happening right now. I'm a part of it. And I'm happy to be a part of it now. And I will fight for your freedom. And at some point, I'm sure that you will join that fight as well. And I'm looking forward to that day. But until then, I'm going to continue to release videos. As sporadic as they are right now, I will continue to release videos. I really thank you for listening. Because together we're going to make a difference. Together everyone achieves more. It's a team, it's a community, it's a civilization of beings that will eventually look out into the world and go, instead of going, we're destroying this, going, we're helping maintain and create a better world. where we live in harmony with everything else and not in a hierarchy, like a hierarchical pyramid where power comes from the top and seeps down to the people below. And not even the people below, but everything else below it. It is time, in a sense, to live in a circle. And I will explain that and so much more in another discussion. Maybe the next one, who knows. Other than that, I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you listening to what I have to say. And for the most part, I appreciate the fact that you didn't give up on this, because this is almost 2 hours. Almost. All together. And it's very sporadic, and it's hard for me to say all this stuff. So I appreciate you being there with me. If you have anything to say, if you want to start helping, message me and comment. If you have something negative to say, I'm going to ask you this. Please keep it to yourself. We do not need any more negativity in the world, because we are definitely not producing enough positivity to counteract that and to counterbalance it. So please, on this forum, do not, or in the commenting section below, on my Twitter, on my website, I ask you to only post things that will push this movement further in the right direction. So you can contact me on my website by going to ruggedDiAMOND.com. The address is in the title card above. You can click on the contact button and leave me a message there. Or you can message me directly on Twitter at iammkstevens.com. Or not iammkstevens.com, at iammkstevens. And and I will reply to you from there. Sincerely though, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening. And I really hope that at some point you will have the courage to come out and talk about who you are and what you can do for this planet. And please share that with me. And hopefully I can be alongside with you and alongside with everybody as we begin to grow and develop as spiritual beings. And bring light to this planet. Light that's never been seen before. It's up to us. So let's do it. Okay? Goodbye.